live tutorial today. This is a very exciting one. We are going to be drawing an ice cream truck in Procreate, and we're doing a big giveaway, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But while we are just getting started, we're gonna let people kind of join in and just say hello for a moment, and then we'll get started. So I see so many amazing people here today from all over the place. Everybody's like, hello from North Carolina, Colorado, Minnesota, New Zealand, Portland, England.
India, I saw
UK, the Netherlands. Let's see, Utah, New York, Texas, California. Hello from California too. Oh my gosh, Canada. Yeah, this is so exciting. We have a lot of you guys here today, and I wanted to give an extra special welcome to our Art Makers Club members that are here with us as well. I know I saw a bunch of your names pop up, like I saw Michelle Downs, I saw Adine, I saw a bunch of you guys like scroll through. Everybody's saying hello now, so welcome, welcome. So happy for you to be here with us today.
We've even got South Africa, Germany, like all over, you guys.
Oh, that's always so special. I always say this every time, but like every time we do one of these big lives and everybody's joining in from all over the world, like it's just so cool that we can all like be in so far away from each other and like come and connect with each other over drawing together, something we all love to do. So it's always just really amazing. So welcome everybody. I am gonna go ahead and get started. So we're gonna switch down to my iPad now because I have a few little slides to show you. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay. So today we're drawing an ice cream truck in Procreate. This is what we're going to be doing today. It's a really simple illustration. Anybody can follow along no matter your skill level. It's really great for beginners. And we're going to cover some really kind of critical Procreate, what's the word that I'm looking for? Tools, tips, things that are really important to use in Procreate, like using layers and clipping masks and adding texture and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's really going to be a good one. So that's what we're going to be doing. And the brushes that we're going to be using today are from my Bardot Brush Sample Pack. And this is a set of 8 brushes pulled from my various Bardot brush sets, some of my favorite brushes with a variety of different kind of styles and textures and things like that to give you a nice little taste of what you could find in all of my premium brush sets at bardotbrush.com. So you can find that at get.bardotbrush.com/sample. There is a link in the description, and I believe we have a link in the chat pinned at the top, so you guys can find that. So go ahead and download those and install them. Once you download them, it should go into your Files app, and all you do is open the zip file and just tap the brush set file. It should import into Procreate, so should be good to go there. So go ahead and do that so you're ready to go. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Lisa Bardot. I am an artist, illustrator, all-around creative person, and a teacher, and I just love being creative. I love making art, and I love sharing my creativity with others. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I do. So first of all, I am the owner of Bardot Brush, which I make premium brush sets for Procreate, tools for joyful art making, I like to say. So I have a wide variety of different kinds of art styles and mediums. I really like to try and replicate like a lot of real life analog media in my brushes, and then also do brushes that do like fun stuff that you could only do with digital stuff. So I've been making brushes since 2016, so I've been doing it since almost the beginning, you guys, and I have a lot of fun making brushes, and it's really fun to see what you guys create with the brushes. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. And then I'm also the founder of Art Makers Club. Art Makers Club is our joy-filled creative community and learning hub for Procreate artists. It's a really fun space, and we have members. We have a ton of members, all at different levels, and we have a bunch of tutorials. We have live events every month. We do lots of really cool conversations in our club. We share our work and all kinds of really great stuff happening in Art Makers Club. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Art Makers Club later on, but again, hello, welcome to all our members that are with us here today. But if you want to really focus on learning Procreate, focusing on your creative practice, this is a really amazing, amazing space that has just blossomed into this. It's just really beautiful, and we do a lot of really fun stuff in the club. So I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And then the big thing, we are giving away an iPad today. So excited. So there's things to note. You must be present to win the iPad. Only valid in applicable countries, so somewhere that we can ship an iPad to from Apple or Amazon. But you can go ahead and enter the giveaway now. I know some of you guys have already been doing that, but go ahead and head to bardotbrush.com/giveaways, and we have a link pinned there as well on the chat. And go ahead and enter to win the giveaway. And then be sure to stick around so that you can be here in case your name is called. Kind of the way that this is going to work once we get to the giveaway portion is we're going to pick a few names and we'll start at the top of the list. We'll call out that person's name and we'll send them an email, right, Jeff?
Correct.
We'll send you an email and you have to reply to that email to claim it. And if you don't do that within a specific amount of time, we'll just move on to the next person. So be ready for that. But in addition to the iPad, we're also giving
no, we don't send them an email, no.
Oh.
They will email us, and we'll go over that again live.
Okay.
So it's that they have to email us.
Just have your email ready. That's what you need to know. So we'll have you email us, and we'll make sure we get that, and it will all be good. So the other thing I wanted to say, we're not just giving away an iPad. We're giving away some other fun stuff. I'm going to be giving away a couple master bundles, which is my complete collection of Bardot brush sets. And we're going to be giving away a couple annual memberships to Art Makers Club. So you get a year-long membership to Art Makers Club. You don't need to be present to win for those. So if you can't stick around, like you still have a chance of winning something, but you do have to be present for the iPad. So, so go ahead and enter. And yeah, good luck, everybody. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into our drawing today. So I'm going to grab my Apple Pencil and pop into Procreate. Okay, and let's go ahead and start by creating a new canvas. We're going to tap the plus sign in the upper right. And the size that I'm going to be using today is 3800 by 2800 pixels. I have a template saved for that. Oops, but if you don't, you can tap this little rectangle icon here with the plus sign in it. And then tap down to pixels. And you can type in 3800 by, oops, 2800 pixels. You can give your template a name and then you can tap create. But I already have a template saved. If you follow me, I use this size all the time, so it's nice to have a template if you like to follow my tutorials. Okay, let's go ahead and open that. And here we go. Okay, so this is kind of a fun approach to drawing an automobile. It might be a little bit different than you have done before, but I think it's kind of fun. So just follow along with me, and let's go into our layers right here. Tap the little layers icon, and we're going to start by setting our background color. So we're going to tap right here where it says background color, and we're going to set our background color. And I'm going to be using kind of like a deep blue, not too dark. So something about right there. I think that'll be a nice background. You can always like change the background color later if you want, but I'm going to do that little blue color. And once you've set your background color, we're going to go into our color picker and we're going to choose a color that is going to be our ice cream truck. We're going to start with a white. So head into your color picker, and if you want to pick white really easily, you can actually double tap close to white here in this disc and it will snap to a pure white value. I use that all the time. So go ahead and choose white. And we're actually not going to be using any brushes right off the bat. We're going to do something a little different. So what I want you to do is we're going to color drop and fill this whole canvas with white. So we're going to grab the little circle here and drag it to the middle and just let go, and it will flood the whole canvas with white. So go ahead and do that. And now, instead of drawing the ice cream truck, we're going to use our transform tool to kind of create the shape. So we're going to go up to our transform tool, which is the little arrow right here. And then I want you to tap, you'll see this toolbar at the bottom, I want you to tap distort. So go ahead and tap distort. And then you might want to zoom out a little bit so you have space around your canvas. And we're going to just grab the corners. And I actually have magnetics turned on. So if you have that turned on, you might want to turn it off. So go right here where it says snapping, and then just turn off magnetics and snapping for now. You can just turn those off. You don't need those. It kind of makes it harder to do what we're doing. But we're going to drag the corner down a little bit like that. And then we're going to grab this corner and drag it down a little bit like that. And then you're going to drag this corner down. And I just want the bottom edge to go, don't ever pull it up above the bottom line like that. Keep it at the bottom or below. This is a trust the process kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to kind of just shape it. This is gonna be the main part of our ice cream truck minus the part that's gonna be the engine, okay? So we're gonna do kind of a funky, a little bit distorted shape, but we do need kind of like a slanty end here, and this one kind of slants back this way, and maybe it's like also kind of slanting that way, just kind of like a funky little shape. And I'm also just gonna push it back a little bit so that I have room to do my engine right here. Okay, hopefully you guys are following along with me. Okay, so go ahead, once you kind of get a shape that looks something like that, go ahead and tap the transform tool and just get out of that mode. And now we're gonna add the engine part. So we're gonna tap the selection tool here, and we're gonna just use our tapping to kind of draw this in. So make sure you're in freehand mode here, and the engine's gonna start about right here, not quite halfway down, and it kind of slants down just a little bit like that. I'll zoom in, and then it kind of sticks out something like that. So it almost looks kind of like a parallelogram in the end, and then you can close that shape. So that's kind of the shape that's going to make up like the engine part of the ice cream truck. And then you can just fill that with white, just like drag and drop in. Okay. All right. I think everybody's able to follow along. I'm just popping in the chat. Things look good. Okay. So there's our ice cream truck shape. Now we're going to recenter it. So we're going to grab our transform tool one more time, and we're going to just move it over. And if you need to make it a little smaller, you can. You can also, I'm still in the distort mode, so I can actually still kind of play with the shape a little bit. Trying to keep the bottom kind of straight, but if you want to just resize it without messing with the shape, you can go over to the uniform mode and you can just resize it that way. Okay, so just make sure there's like a little bit of room at the bottom for the tires, and then you should be good. That looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so now we're gonna start adding some color to this plain white shape. So we're gonna go up to our layers and tap the plus sign to create a new layer. And now we're gonna pick our kind of accent color for our ice cream truck. And I'm gonna do kind of a, I don't know, like a minty green. So I'm over here in kind of like a blue-green color. And I'm choosing something pretty light like that.
I won't lie, earlier someone said they love the color of your jumpsuit, knowing that it even matched the color of the truck.
You guys, this is all intentional. I don't know, whenever I'm like doing a tutorial, I always like to kind of like match in some way. I decorate my little area, and then I like put on an outfit that kind of fits the vibe. So thank you for noticing. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, so I'm choosing like a really light minty color. And then we're gonna use our selection tool to draw this next shape. And we're gonna draw, basically, we're gonna make a line that goes across here. So we're gonna tap here and then tap, actually I'm gonna tap off the screen and tap here like that. And then kind of complete that just by finishing it. So just kind of making a sort of like rectangle shape at the top, and then fill that with color drop. And it's gonna look kind of funky at first, but just bear with me, trust the process. So once you have kind of like a rectangle going across the top, I want you to go up to your layers, and we're gonna use a clipping mask. And I wanted to show you the clipping mask in action because it's really cool. When you use a clipping mask, whatever's in that layer will only show within the shape of the layer below. So if we tap this new layer and we choose clipping mask, you'll see that even though in the layer thumbnail it's still that big rectangle, it only will show within the shape of the layer below. And clipping masks are amazing. I use them all the time to kind of like control shapes. So let's add the bottom kind of color section to our ice cream truck. I'm gonna draw another kind of rectangle. So I'm just gonna, actually I'll start it right here. And then I wanna, see this little L piece? I want it to just go a little bit above that, like that. It's a little too angled for me. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. And then just kind of draw around and finish off your selection. So that bottom part is now covered. And then you can fill that. And you'll see in your thumbnail, it's that weird shape that I drew with the selection tool, but it's only showing in the shape of the ice cream truck. So there's kind of like the main shape of our ice cream truck. And now we're gonna add some windows. So we're gonna go up to our layers, and then I want you to tap the white ice cream truck layer, okay? And then I want you to tap the plus sign to create a new layer. And you'll notice that this layer is also a clipping mask. You can see the little arrow. See how these have little arrows? That means whatever I draw on this layer will also be clipped within the shape of the ice cream truck. So anytime you add like a clipping mask in between another clipping mask, it'll automatically be a clipping mask. Okay, so now let's pick a new color. I'm gonna go and choose kind of a gray. So just kind of be here on this edge, kind of like just a little bit below middle gray right there, not crazy dark. And we're gonna draw some windows. So we're gonna go to our selection tool again, and we're gonna draw our first window here, and it's gonna be a shape kind of following the edge of the front of the ice cream truck like that. Goes back a little ways, and then goes back up, kind of straight up and down, and then close it off.
What brush are you using currently?
We actually haven't used any brushes yet, so we're just kind of drawing with the selection tool right now. So we're just drawing shapes. And
kind of sneaky.
Yeah, it's kind of sneaky. It's kind of fun. So you can see I have made my selection. I drew the shape of the window, and I want to show you another cool tool that you can use for filling selections with color, and that is the color fill. So if you have a selection made, you can tap right here where it says color fill, and it will automatically fill that selection with the color that you have selected in the color picker. So it's really, really handy. In fact, you can keep making selections and it will keep filling those colors. So if we wanted to, pardon me, keep going, I'm gonna come over just a little bit like this, and I'm gonna draw another kind of funky rectangle shape. Maybe go a little bit bigger than that. This is gonna be like the other window. And once I close the selection by tapping the little gray dot, it will fill that with color. So it's really handy if you want to like draw a bunch of shapes with the selection tool and you fill them with color drop. You don't have to like drag and drop a bunch of times. So there's our two windows for the truck, but I want to split this window into like two little windows. So I'm going to use the selection tool again to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just tap to get out of the mode. So tap selection tool. Now I'm out of selection tool mode. And I'm going to tap to go back in it because I'm starting a new selection. And I want to turn color fill off because I'm going to make a selection that I'm going to be erasing from. Okay. So like go to color fill and just turn that off. And now we're going to just kind of draw a very thin rectangle right in the middle of this bigger like rectangle like that. So it's kind of like a long skinny rectangle. And then we're going to erase what's in that selection. So if you take 3 fingers, you can do a kind of a Z motion gesture like this. Oops, one more time. One more time. There we go. Sometimes the gesture is a little tricky, but that will clear out your selection. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go up to your layers and you can tap the layer and you can choose clear. And that does the same thing. So there's our little windows. And let's go, let's go ahead now. I saw a couple questions. Can you change the color of multiple objects with the color fill? No, all your selections will fill with the same color, but if you like get out of the selection mode and go back in, you can start a new color. So that's something, or you can change colors like afterwards, which we're kind of gonna do when we get to the ice cream. But let's go ahead and now we've got kind of some basic shapes. We're gonna actually start defining a little bit of the details now. So I want you to tap your topmost layer. It should be the one with the blue, like this light blue color, and then tap the plus sign. So we've got a new layer. And now we're gonna go into our brushes. So make a new layer and go into your brushes. And here I am in the Bardot Brush Sample Pack. We have 8 different brushes from the various sets that I have. I have a lot more than 8 sets. I forget how many I have, like 17 or I have a lot of sets. But the one I want you to find is this one called Gritty Tilt Liner. This is from my gouache paint box. This is like a really fun liner detail brush with like loads of texture. It's one of my favorites. So go ahead and select that brush. So again, gritty tilt liner. And then for your color, we're still on that dark gray for the windows, but I want you to just go up a little bit and choose just like a, it's kind of freezing, kind of a lighter gray. We're gonna use this to draw some details. So I'm about just a little bit above this kind of halfway point right here. And my brush size, let's try like 20%, 15 or 20% would be good. And I'm gonna start by drawing just kind of a line here across the top. Do it a little bit straighter. There you go. And then we're gonna use this to kind of define the doors. So I'm gonna do a line straight down like that. And then this is the other door, or the other side of the door. You can see that I'm not like trying to get the door line super parallel. Like I'm letting it be a little, just a little funky. Wanted to have like a lot of personality. So I'm not really making anything parallel. Okay, so there's my door. And then I'm gonna do a little handle, so you can draw just kind of like a long oval shape like that. And then we're gonna switch to a different color and do a few more details. And then I'm going to, for this other details, we're gonna do like a darker version of this kind of blue, minty blue. So I'm gonna sample the minty blue, just take a finger and hold down, and you can actually sample any color on your canvas that way. So sample the blue, and then go up to your colors, and we're just gonna pick a color that's like a little bit more dark and more saturated. So I want you to actually move this little circle kind of this direction, and that will be darker and more saturated. So it looks something like that. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna go a tiny bit darker maybe. I always like to kind of like sample the colors, make sure it looks good.
What is that erase gesture that you're doing?
Oh, when I was clearing out this, I did a 3 finger. So you take 3 fingers and then you kind of make a Z motion, but it's like a fast, kind of like a little scrub, I like to think of it.
And what's the other tap that you're doing?
Oh, great. I didn't even mention that. 2 finger tap to undo. So if you want to undo anything that you've done, you can take 2 fingers and you can tap. And then you can actually take 3 fingers if you want to redo. So I did this little mark to kind of like test it, and then I'm going to take 2 fingers and undo. That's a good question. Like if you're new to Procreate, like it's like so ingrained in my brain, like, oh, just two finger tap to undo. And I know people that have been using a Procreate a long time, if you ever like draw on paper, you'll find yourself like trying to tap your paper when you mess up. Like it's really funny. Okay, so we're gonna draw some like long oval shapes here. You know, it's like that part of the truck where it kind of like the metal sticks out a little bit. That's what these are. So draw another one kind of in line with the first in the door, and then we're gonna do another one kind of right here. There we go. So that's our little circles. And then that's all the line details that we're gonna do for now. We're gonna do some more later, but I just really wanted to define the door because now we get to add our wheels. So let's see how we're doing. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go now, we're gonna do our tires. We're gonna go to our layers, and we're actually going to tap, we're gonna tap the layer with the minty blue, and then tap the plus sign. And we want this layer to be a clipping mask as well. We're gonna kind of define the wheel wells, like the cutouts where the wheels go. So we're gonna tap this layer and we're gonna choose clipping mask, okay? All right, so go ahead and create a new layer. We've made that new layer clipping mask, and now we're gonna go up to the brushes, and we're gonna choose the inker brush. This is from a basic toolkit. It's a very, I like to call it a basic brush, but it's very like good all around brush for drawing shapes and things like that. It's just got a little bit of edge texture. We're gonna use the inker brush from the sample pack, okay? And then I'm gonna go to my colors, and we're gonna choose black. So just like move your little circle like all the way down, like right there, okay? So go ahead and choose black, and we're gonna use this brush to define our wheel wells. Wheel wells, just say that 10 times fast. I'm at like 20%. And we're gonna draw a wheel well, kind of like right in front of the door, and just kind of draw an arch and color it in, kind of like that. And then we're gonna do one almost all the way to the back, just leave like a little bit there, and then draw kind of like another little wheel well shape. So kind of like, almost like a circle. There we go. So those are gonna be where our wheels are gonna go. Okay. And now we can draw our tires. So we're gonna go up to our layers and we're gonna create a new layer. Tires are gonna go on a new layer. I use a lip, if you're new to Procreate, like you'll see me using all these different layers, and I like to separate parts of my artwork out. It lets me be able to make adjustments and add texture to them later, which you'll see when we add a little texture to our ice cream truck. But you'll see me making lots and lots of different layers. At any time like something overlaps something else, I like to put it on its own layer. So let's tap the plus sign. This is not going to be a clipping mask because the tires are going to go not within the shape of the truck. They're going to be on top of it and underneath it. So no clipping mask for that one. And we're going to choose a dark gray. Let's do like a little bit below halfway here. I think that'll be good. It just needs to be light enough that it like stands off the black and it doesn't like fade into the black too much. Okay, and let's do this one first. We're going to use a really cool feature called QuickShape to draw our wheels. Not all of us are really good at drawing perfect circles, not even me. They're kind of tricky, so Procreate has a great feature called QuickShape. So if you draw a circle and then you keep your, once you like get back to the beginning, you keep your pen or your Apple Pencil, I mean, on the screen, it will snap. And you can see I haven't lifted my pencil. I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to draw. And I kind of like to overlap the beginning of my stroke a little bit when I do this. Okay, and I haven't lifted my pencil. Put your other finger somewhere on the screen. Boop. And that will snap to a perfect circle like that. And you can get it exactly where you want it to be. And once you kind of like it, you can let go. And I want to show you right here. It says Edit Circle. If you tap that, you kind of have to be quick or it'll go away, but it'll say Edit Circle right there. You can actually adjust your circle. You can move it around. You can grab the edge of it and you can make it bigger or smaller. You can grab these nodes and you can stretch it out if you didn't want it to be a circle, but I do want it to be a circle. So you can, get it to be the size that you want it to be. And then you can fill it with color drop. So once you have that nice outline, you can just grab it and grab your color circle and fill it with color drop. Okay, we're going to do that a few times because we're going to do white walled tires with a hubcap. So we'll get to use the QuickShape quite a bit. So now we're going to choose white. We're going to do, like I said, white walled tires. So again, you can double tap close to white to choose white as a pure white value. And we're going to do the inside just in like a white circle inset just a little bit. And I'll show you a fun trick to get like another circle perfectly centered within the previous one. So basically trace over the edge of the circle you just did and hold down so that you enact QuickShape. Put a finger down, and when we let go, we're going to tap circle up here, and I'm going to recenter it. I like to make it like the same size as the previous circle, like this, and then grab the edge of the circle and shrink it down to the size. And that way I know it'll be perfectly centered because I'm just shrinking it down from the middle. So I'm going to just shrink it down to about that big. And then we can fill that with color drop. Oh, no, we can't. I meant to. So this is when I would usually make a different layer for this, but I'm trying to keep you guys not having to make too many layers for this one, but normally I'd put it on its own layer. We're not going to fill it with color drop. So if you did that like me and it totally flooded it, don't worry. Try again. Go ahead and do your circle. Tap circle here. Resize it so it's just about that big. And then we'll just color it in for this one. Okay. All right. One more circle. This is going to be like the hubcap. So we're going to get like a light gray now. That color's pretty good. So I'm about right there. A little bit above center. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll draw a circle, hold down my pencil, put a finger down, let go and choose circle here. And then I'll shrink it down so it's the size I want for the hubcap. And then we'll color it in. Okay. So your tire should look something like this now. And you could repeat that whole process and draw another tire over here, do the same thing. Or we can duplicate this one and just move it over to save us a little bit of time. So once you have your tire all done, we're gonna go to the layers, and you see the layer with the tire. You're gonna duplicate it. So to do that, you're gonna take your pencil and swipe to the left, and you'll see these options, and you can choose duplicate. And now we have 2. And then you can just go up to your transform tool and move it over to the other one. And then sometimes, like, if I have 2 of the exact same things, maybe, especially since a wheel, I can like rotate it a little bit just so they don't look exactly the same. But you know, that's totally optional. They're pretty symmetrical, so it's not making that much of a difference. But there we go. So now we have our 2 tires. And in our layers, we're gonna just go ahead and merge those together since we don't really need them to be on separate layers. They don't touch each other, it's fine. So there's a couple ways you can merge. You can tap this top layer, the top tire, and choose merge down like that, and that will merge those layers together so they're both on the same layer. Or 2-finger tap to undo. You can actually pinch them together, which is sometimes a little tricky, but you take 2 fingers and you just pinch them together. That's really useful if you want to pinch like a lot, if you want to merge a lot of layers. Like I could merge all these layers with a pinch, but I'm not doing that. So either way. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna stay on this same layer and add a few more details like bumpers and lights and things like that. So go ahead and stay on the tire layer. Again, we still have the inker brush selected. And I'm gonna go a little bit darker with my color, maybe like around middle gray. This will be my bumper color. Actually, no, it's a little too dark. Like I said, I just like to test it out. That's a good color. So I'm a little bit above the middle. And we're gonna do a bumper here. Again, I'm still on the tire layer. And I'm just gonna draw kind of like a blobby shape, like that. I'll be the front bumper. And I'm just gonna make it a little smaller. There we go. There's my front bumper, a little blob. And then we'll do the back bumper as well. Just kind of sticks off the back. So kind of like a sort of a rounded rectangle shape. So there's our bumpers. And then we're also going to draw some little side lights. Maybe these are like the blinkers. I don't know. The lights on the side of the truck. And we're going to use like a nice bright orange for these. So you can move your outer ring over to the orange and then just go like all the way over here, kind of at, what is that, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock for a nice bright orange. And we're going to add kind of a light. It's a little bit long, and then we'll add one that's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit taller. So those are going to be our like side lights. And if you're curious, like where I'm like, why I'm deciding to do all these, like when I first drew this, I looked up like a lot of photos of ice cream trucks and I noticed some of the details. And so as an artist, I get to choose like what details I get to include or not include. There are lots of different metal things all over a truck, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So go ahead and add some lights. And then the other things that we need to add are a headlight and like a tail light. But I want those details to go kind of like behind the shape of the truck. So I'm going to create a new layer. Go up to your layers, tap the plus sign, and we're going to move this underneath the layer of the white truck layer. So to move a layer, you can tap, hold, and drag it all the way to the bottom. And you see you can move it anywhere you want. But I'm going to move it underneath all the layers like that. Okay, so your new layer should be underneath everything else. And now we're going to add a tail light, and the tail lights are like more reddish. So I'm just going to scooch my color a little closer to red like that. And then I'm going to draw kind of like a bump shape. That's a little bit bright. I'm going to make it a little darker. So just kind of like a bump shape on the back. Whoop. And you'll see that because it's on a layer behind the truck, it'll only show, you know, everything is kind of like tucked underneath. So that's kind of how layers work. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to do a headlight, but I'm going to do it in gray. So I'm going to grab this same gray color that I used for the bumper. Just use the little sample. Hold your finger down. And then just a little bump right there. And that'll be the headlight. And then the other thing that we need is the loudspeaker, you know, that plays the iconic ice cream truck music that we all know and love. Always makes me think of my childhood. So we're going to choose white for the loudspeaker. And you could, you know, double tap to sample or double tap to choose white from the color picker, but we already have white on the canvas, so we could always just like sample white from the canvas, and that works too. Okay, here's a fun little trick for this kind of like speaker shape. I want you to draw kind of like a curved line that goes out and then another curved line that goes out. And it's gonna be a little bit bigger than you need it to be. We'll do it one more time. And then just kind of like color that part in haphazardly. So it should look something like that. And then you're gonna use your eraser to kind of just chop part of it off to make these nice sharp corners on the shape. So if you tap and hold your eraser tool, so I'm going to tap and hold it, it will select the brush that I was using for my brush as my eraser brush. You can always just tap into your eraser, go to the sample set and find it, but that's like a quick shortcut. That way your eraser marks will match your drawing marks. And then you can just erase. And we have this nice kind of cone shape, like loudspeaker shape, with nice pointy corners. I use that all the time. I very often use the eraser to draw because I like doing stuff like this. So go ahead and make your little loudspeaker. I'll do it one more time just so, as I talked a lot. So you kind of make like a curvy shape, color it in. It's bigger than we need it to be. And then you just use your eraser to kind of chop it off like that. And then we are going to draw a little kind of circle, the like middle part of the loudspeaker. So just add a little bump there. And those are all the main shapes for the truck. But we are missing something very important, which is our little ice cream. We can't have an ice cream truck without some pictures of ice cream on the side. So let's do that next. Let's go ahead and select the layer with the tires. It's like the one with the tires, the bumper, and the lights. So go ahead and select that layer. And then tap the plus sign. And it might be helpful to kind of sketch out the design a little bit. So I'm going to do that really quick. So I'm going to just grab black as my color. And I'm going to use the sketching pencil from the sample pack, so the sketching pencil. And then I'm going to make the brush size smaller, like 15% or so. And then I'm just going to sketch out some really rough kind of popsicle shapes. So I'm going to do like a single pop, like a twin pop, and then like a cone, like with the flat bottom. So it kind of has a rectangle here and then kind of a tapered rectangle underneath, like that. And then like cone-shaped cone. So it kind of has a V right there. And then we can draw our ice cream, just kind of loosely sketch that in. And then I'll do another one here. Just kind of some little blob shapes like that. I'm going to have some details in these kind of like this. Again, I'm just keeping it really loose because these are going to end up being like pretty rough shapes. And then you can always use your transform tool to kind of get them in the right position, resize them. You can use your selection tool here. If you wanted to spread them apart a little, you can use your selection and kind of like move them around a little bit. Just kind of like, I always like to, you know, these are pretty easy shapes, the truck and stuff, but like stuff that's a little bit more detailed, it's really good to sketch things out and get a plan. So that way you aren't having to like move things around later on. Like I want these to be a little bit bigger. So just kind of resizing, okay? So there's my little ice cream cones.
Just so you know what's going on in the chat, a few
Yeah.
of us are ready for Dairy Queen. Robin's picking them up for us, or Corey, whoever wants
Thank
to
you,
come get 'em.
Robin. I'll do, oh, it's hard to decide. It's either Oreo, Butterfinger, or Reese's. Reese's peanut butter
Reese's
cup,
peanut butter
not
cup.
Pieces.
Yeah.
Pieces are too crunchy. Thanks. Can't wait to see it. No. We should go out for ice cream after this, Jeff. Okay, so we've got our little sketches. Now let's color them. So go up to your layers, and whenever I do a sketch, I like to reduce the opacity of the sketch so it's like really faint, so I can do my final artwork without the sketch getting in the way. So if you tap the N here, you're gonna go down to this slider where it says opacity. So we're gonna tap the little N on the sketch layer, and then you can reduce the opacity. You're kind of making it more see-through. I like to do like 15% or so, just so it's like faintly visible. Okay. And then you can just tap the layer again to get out of that. And we're gonna reuse the layer with the tires and the bumpers and all that. So you can just tap over to that layer, and we'll use that one for drawing our ice creams. Ice cream shapes. So go ahead and choose that layer. Okay, and we're gonna use our selection tool to draw some of the parts of these. So we're gonna go over to our selection tool, and let's turn on color fill. So go ahead and turn on color fill, and we'll start drawing our ice cream shapes. Again, I'm in freehand mode, and I'm just gonna kind of tap, tap, tap. Here where it's kind of rounded, I'm just gonna kind of like tap around the shape, and then tap down to the bottom, and then close my selection by tapping the little gray circle. And it's gonna fill with the color I have selected, which is still black, but we can actually change the color on the fly. So if you go to the color picker circle, you can actually, I'm gonna do like a yellowish color for this popsicle. And then you can see how you can like change it. I'm gonna go like a nice bright yellow for this first one. Okay. And then, I actually got out of the selection mode, but yeah, if you're still in selection mode, you can tap to get out of it and then go back in it, and then you can pick another color, which somebody was asking about earlier, and we can do the next one. So I'm just gonna kind of just tap and define the shape. So I'm like tap, 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 tapping to create the shape of these like twin pops. And they fill with yellow, but I can change it maybe to like an orange, like that. And if I were to keep tapping, like I'll keep tapping to do the ice cream cone. So I'm just gonna do the cone part. Just kind of tapping the outer outline of this shape that I sketched. And it's gonna fill with that color. And this is what somebody was asking before, like if I were to try and change one of them, I can't because they're both selected. So let me try to undo. Actually, here, I'll go back to the orange. Color picker can be finicky, or the color fill tool can be kind of finicky. That's doing weird stuff. Sometimes it does do that, like does weird stuff. But I'm gonna do the last one, and then we'll worry about changing that. So I'm gonna do my cone-shaped cone. It's kind of like tap, tap, tap. Okay. And so if I wanted to just change these, I can actually just use color drop to do it. So I'm gonna go up to, I'm still in orange. Let me go, I'm trying to get a cone color. Kind of orange, but light. Not too light. I'll try right there. Kind of like a, that's pretty good. So that's a color that I'm choosing for that. It's kind of orange and kind of in the middle towards the top. And then I can just color drop onto it. So I'm just grabbing this circle and color dropping. So that's another way that you can change the color of a shape, just like color drop right on top of it. Okay. And while we have this kind of brownish color selected, we're going to draw the popsicle sticks because this color works well for popsicle sticks. And anytime I can reuse the same color in an illustration, I like to. That way it feels more cohesive. So let's go to our brushes, and we're going to choose the inker brush. So go ahead and choose inker. And then we want the popsicle sticks to be behind the popsicle shapes. So we need a layer that's behind the popsicles. So we're going to tap the plus sign to create a new layer. And then we're going to drag and drop, tap, hold, and drag it underneath the tire layer. Okay, So that way it's underneath the popsicles. All the tire and the popsicles are on the same layer now. And this might happen. It's kind of annoying when this happens, but sometimes when you drag and drop a layer on top of where a clipping mask is, it'll like want to be a clipping mask. And you have to turn it off if you don't want that to happen. Like it's, yeah, the drag and dropping does that sometimes. So you would just tap it. If you get the little arrow pop up, just tap that layer and see how clipping mask is checked. Just tap it and it's no longer a clipping mask. Okay. All right, popsicle sticks. My brush size again is 20%. And if ooh, that's really big. I'm gonna go smaller actually. I'm gonna go even smaller. What am I, like 5%? Yeah, 7%. Okay, 7%. Okay, and if I just kind of like hold heavy pressure, I can get like a nice straight popsicle line. So I'm just gonna draw, I'm just kind of using heavy pressure, and then I get like a nice kind of solid, not solid, but like similar mono width kind of shape. So there's my sticks. And then on the same layer, we're gonna do the ice cream. We'll just draw in the ice cream freehand. So I'm gonna do a nice pink for my, maybe some strawberry ice cream. So I'm over here in the pink colors, really light. Try it out, that looks good. Maybe go a little lighter. And then I'm just gonna kind of trace the shapes that I already drew, like that. If you make it a closed shape, like I have, see how it's like a closed shape, you can fill it with color drop, or you can always just color it in, it's your choice. Color drop is a lot faster though. And then this one, I'm gonna do like a minty green. Try that color out, that's good. It's probably pretty similar to that color. And then I'm gonna draw the ice cream there. And I'll fill that in with color drop too. Okay, we're in the home stretch, you guys. We're almost done with this drawing. The last thing that we need to do is add a little bit more of our line details like we started to add on the ice cream truck, but we need to do a few on the ice cream, cones and popsicles. So I want you to tap back to the layer with the line work, which is this one at the very top. It's got these gray lines and these blue lines. We're just gonna reuse that one to do our line work for these. So we're gonna add a little bit of detail to these. We're gonna tap and hold your finger down to sample this yellow. Go to your colors, and we're gonna go a little darker and more saturated, but the thing with yellow and kind of orange, like the more farther you go this way, it kind of gets like gray and muddy. So whenever I'm choosing like a darker version of yellow to add a detail or something, shadow, I like to also go a little closer to orange. So we can go like a little bit darker, but I'm also gonna go a little closer to orange and then kind of test that out. Still a little too light. That's pretty good. And actually, we don't have the right brush selected. We've been doing our details with the Gritty Tilt Liner. So we're gonna go to our brushes and choose Gritty Tilt Liner again. So that way everything is consistent. And then I'm just gonna trace over, go a little smaller. I'm like 10% with my brush size. Okay, so there's my popsicle. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here with this one. I'm gonna sample the orange. And again, if I go any further down, it's starting to get brown. So I'm gonna actually go closer to red to choose like a darker version. That works. And then draw kind of like an oval shape there. These are really small details, so they don't have to be perfect. Same thing here with the pink. So I'm gonna sample the pink, and we don't need to change the hue for the pink because I could go really dark easily, but I don't need to. I just need to go a little bit this way. Maybe a little bit darker. I always like to sample it out. And then for this one, we're just gonna add kind of some lines like that to kind of indicate it's like swirly. And then the same thing for this one. Just go a little darker and then just add some kind of lines for the swirly shapes. Maybe I'll go this way. Okay, good enough. It doesn't need to be super accurate. And then finally, our cones need just a little bit of detail. So I'm going to sample the cone color and go a little darker and more saturated, maybe a little darker than that. That's good. And then for this cone, I'm going to do like a line here and a line here and a line there. And then kind of just like a, actually no, not diagonal. I'm going to do like horizontal, vertical kind of lines for this. There we go. So there's that one. And then for this one, I'm going to draw kind of line across to kind of show how the waffle folds over on itself. And then I'm going to do my like kind of diagonally sort of crossing lines kind of this way. And I'll do the same thing kind of here. There. I'm not going for perfect. I don't even mind that some of the lines kind of overlap a little bit. I like it to be a little full of personality, we say. Okay, so cones are looking good. We don't need that sketch anymore for the cones, so we're going to go to the layer with the cones, the sketch of the cones, and just uncheck this little checkbox. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. And then go back to the layer with the lines, because there was a couple other things I want to do. So back to your line work layer. I'm going to add a line to this. So I'm going to choose like a really light gray. That's good. And just add a line to kind of define that little part that sticks out. Just one line there. We're going to add some lines to the bumpers. This light gray I already have, works pretty well. So I'm just going to add a couple lines to the bumper there. And then there as well. On these hubcaps, let's try. I'm going to sample that color. Go a little bit darker. And just add a circle in the middle and then kind of some lines going around like that. Do the same thing on this one. There we go. And what else? Oh, these need a little bit of detail, so I'm going to sample the orange lights. And let's go a little lighter actually for these. So I'm actually going closer to yellow to get a little lighter. I can also go up this way a little bit. Maybe a little bit lighter than that. And then I'm going to draw a couple lines on that. With this gritty tilt liner, the more upright you hold it, the more solid it will be. But the more you kind of angle it down, the more gritty it will be. That's why it's gritty tilt liner. Because if you tilt your Apple Pencil, it gets more gritty. So if your lines aren't looking like exactly like mine, it could be the angle of the brush, or not the brush, but the pencil. So add a few lines on those, and then we'll add, I'll sample this and maybe go a little bit more orange, and then I'll just like add a couple lines there just to kind of give a little bit of detail. Yeah, I think that's all for the line details. The last little step that I was going to do is just to add a smidge of texture to this. So let's go to our layers, and we are going to add texture to the blue part of the truck. So we're going to find the layer that has those blue kind of stripy shapes. So go ahead and choose that layer, and we're going to use a feature called Alpha Lock. Alpha Lock will lock in the shape that you have on that layer, so you can only draw within that shape. So don't follow along, but I just want to show you what I mean. If you're new to Procreate, Alpha Lock could be a little confusing. So I didn't turn it on. I don't have Alpha Lock on. If I wanted to try and draw texture within the shape of this blue and not get it on the white, I'm going to have a lot of trouble. And I'm using this orange to kind of like exaggerate how it looks. Yeah, that's not good. But if I just want the texture on the blue, I can use Alpha Lock to turn it on. And I'll walk you through this in just a second, but I'll turn on Alpha Lock. And now I can only draw in the blue shape on that layer. So that's kind of how Alpha Lock works. And it's another really, really useful feature. I use it a lot if I'm adding texture to stuff. So go to your blue layer. You can turn on Alpha Lock in two ways. You can tap the layer and you can choose Alpha Lock from the menu. Just tap it. You'll notice a checkerboard pattern on the thumbnail. That's how you know it's on. I'll undo that. The other way that you can do it is you can take two fingers and you can swipe to the right, on that layer. And you'll see that checkerboard pattern. You can always tap in and just make sure Alpha Lock is checked there. Okay? Now the brush I'm going to use is Crumple Texture. So go ahead and choose crumple texture. This is from my watercolor wonder set. It's a really awesome set of brushes for doing watercolor, digital watercolor. I actually did a whole art retreat in Italy doing digital watercolor using this set in April, and it was a lot of fun, but I love the texture of this one. So let's sample our blue color, and then we'll choose a color that's just a little bit darker. I don't want to go too saturated. I just want to go like a little darker. So I'm kind of going this way. And then you can try that out and see. I like to just kind of like tap, tap, tap this a little bit to add texture. I think it's probably not quite dark enough. So I'm gonna go a little bit darker and maybe a little bigger. My brush size is like 47%. And you can just add a little bit of texture there. You can also add a little texture to the top if you want. But I just kind of like tapped in a few times just to add a little bit of texture. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a little texture to the windows just to make them look kind of shiny. So go to your layer with the gray windows. I'm going to turn on alpha lock. So take 2 fingers and swipe to the right, or you can tap to the menu and choose alpha lock. And we're going to switch to a different brush. And this one is called Toothy Pastel. It's from my artist pastel set, to emulate like wax and pastels and crayons and things like that, oil pastels. So go ahead and choose Toothy Pastel. We'll sample our gray. Just use your finger to sample. And then go a little bit lighter. I'm going to go about there. That's pretty good. And then my brush size is, I have it all the way up, so 100%. And then we're just going to draw kind of some diagonal lines. And if you do heavy pressure, it's going to look like that. If you do light pressure, it's going to be a little bit more textured. So somewhere in between, kind of light though. You can kind of do one a little bit more heavy and then one light, and then do some on this window too, just to kind of make it look shiny. Little reflections. And there we go. All right, and that is the final little detail for the ice cream truck. You could keep going and adding more texture to stuff if you want. That's why it's good to have things on separate layers, because like I said, I could add texture to just the blue part without affecting the white because it's on its own layer. For something like these tires, it'd be a little hard to add texture to because it's all like all these different colors are on one layer. So that's why I said I usually separate them onto different layers, but try to keep it simple for you guys. But there's our finished ice cream truck. I hope you guys had so much fun drawing with me today. Of course, you can always rewatch this, tutorial anytime if you weren't able to keep up and follow along. You can watch it on YouTube. I think you can rewind it right now and watch it, but
you can.
But we have fun things to do, so let's not do that yet. So let me pop back over here, and I would love to see what you guys made. One of my favorite things about doing these tutorials is getting to see the artwork that you guys create based on the tutorial. So please tag me. I made a hashtag for you guys, which is BB Ice Cream Truck. It's kind of a long one, but wasn't sure how to do a shorter one. But BB Ice Cream Truck. So if you're sharing to Instagram, please use that hashtag. It's really cool if you do this because then we can all see each other's work. If you go browse that hashtag, it's kind of cool to see everybody's artwork all together. And then tag me on Instagram. I am Lisa Bardot. And then of course Bardot Brush. Since you're using some Bardot brushes for this, you can tag Bardot Brush as well. I would love to see your artwork. I hope you guys had fun. That was a really fun one. All right, let's get to our giveaway. So this is your last chance to enter the giveaway. So if you haven't already yet, go ahead and enter the giveaway at bardotbrush.com/giveaways. I think we still have the link pinned at the top of the chat, and it's also in the description. So this is your last chance to enter the giveaway, and I'm just gonna browse through your questions really quick while you guys are doing that.
Oh, what is the
This is funny, actually. Okay, so Michelle Griffith was asking, what's a little square black thing with the Procreate logo next to your iPad? Okay, this is a sticker that I got from Procreate at Lightbox, I think, a few years ago. So it's just like a sticker. And it's got a Lego glued to the back because I wanted to have it here, but I wanted to have it elevated, and then this sticky stuff is so it doesn't move. But it's a complicated answer too. It's a sticker. But yeah, it's a sticker. I have a few of those actually. I should do a giveaway one day with like the stickers, and I have some pins and stuff that I've gotten from Procreate. It's a lot of fun. So, okay, last chance for the giveaway. I'm just trying to see if there's any questions that popped up. Can't wait to see your guys' stuff.
Someone was asking about when is Procreate finally going to do an update?
It's coming, guys. Like, they've been working on an update for a really long time.
Check out their on Instagram.
So yeah, actually go to their TikTok. Procreate's TikTok is the best place because they have kind of like shifted how they're sharing about these updates. Like they used to just kind of keep everything secret until it came out and then do like a big debut. But they've kind of mixed up their whole like way they communicate with the community now, and they're sharing behind the scenes looks at what the new features are and things like that. So their TikTok is a really good place to use that, and I should have some information or some cool things to show you guys coming up pretty soon. So like be sure to subscribe to my YouTube because there's stuff in the works. That's all I can say for now. But yeah, new stuff coming at some point, stuff to see coming soon.
Check out TikTok.
Check out their TikTok, yeah. Okay, I think that's it for the giveaway, Jeff, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, guys, giveaway is closed. Okay, so we need a few minutes to kind of like go through and pull winners and stuff. Jeff is working on that behind the scenes. So give us a few minutes, bear with us, make sure to stick around because like we said, you do have to be present to win the iPad. We have a couple other prizes that you don't have to be present to win, but you do have to be here for the iPad. Can you explain how that works about the email thing, Jeff?
Yep, you are going to have to be able to email us. And the email that we state is, I gotta pull up it.
Sorry, I was asking questions when he's in the middle of doing
trying
things.
to do the work, which is what I can't do. I can only do so much. I gotta have the randomizer start picking everything.
Yeah.
It takes a split second. So let me actually get that started.
Okay, have your email on the ready. As soon as he's able to, he's gonna explain how the email thing works.
Hold on, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just.
Okay, you need a few minutes?
I need a couple.
Okay. All right. While he's doing that, I wanted to take the opportunity to talk with you guys a little bit about Art Makers Club because we have some really exciting stuff coming up in Art Makers Club over the next month. But as I was kind of telling you guys at the beginning, Art Makers Club is our community and learning hub for learning Procreate artists. Like it is, if you want to learn Procreate and have a lot of support, have really great tutorials, have really great courses, and a whole bunch of really amazing people there doing the same thing with you, cheering you on, it's Art Makers Club is the place to be. And I wanted to show you guys a little bit about Art Makers Club. So artmakersclub.com is where you can find it. This is our little homepage. Learn, Procreate, make friends, have fun. I think encapsulates it pretty well. And some of the things that are in Art Makers Club are our course library. So these are my premium courses that you can find on Skillshare, and here are the only places you can find these courses, including my Kickstart Your Creativity, which is like if you want to learn Procreate, like this is the most amazing like hand-holdy course to help you out with learning Procreate. It's like between the two different courses now, we have 40 lessons that are all about 15 to 20 minutes long. So you can do like one a day over the course of 8 weeks is kind of how it's designed to do. And it will take you through learning so much about Procreate, trying different art styles, drawing like a ton of different subjects. Like here's a couple peeks at what it looks like when you're inside. This is from Kickstart 2, and it's the first lesson of that course where we draw this cool little psychedelic inspired sun kind of illustration. And there's lots of written instructions, pictures to kind of help you out with stuff. Lots and lots of information to just really hold your hand through the whole process. And then of course you can share your artwork below, you can ask questions, and it's just a really supportive place to learn. Here's another one for the boot lesson. I love this one, this little boot drawing where we learn how to make a Procreate brush. We learn how to draw with the eraser, which you guys got to do a little bit today. Coloring with the selection tool and making your own Procreate brushes. There's actually a lot of that in this one. So that's Kickstart, but there's even more. If you want to learn animation, we've got that. Making cool maps in Procreate, learning cool effects like paper cut art, stained glass, and so much more. Pet portraits every month. So we do 2 live events. We do a live tutorial, which is similar to what you guys did today. It's similar, but we usually go more in depth into a topic. They're a little bit longer. We usually are exploring an art technique or an art style, and it's something that you can kind of take and run with and kind of use to make your own art. Like today this month we did our made to match tutorial where we learned how to do a hero illustration and a repeating pattern to pair it with, and it came with all these really cool mock-ups. Well, I was going to show you, but I'm going to keep going. So you could like put your art together and see how it looks in a real world thing. And then there's our calendar. And then we have all of our live events of the past. So the month before we did this really cool faces on the fly where we drew little illustrated faces. We learned how to create art like Monet, explore our brushes, spot illustration collections. We did this really cool line work one in February. This was like a Wayne Thiebaud inspired cake illustration that we did. And there's so much more. We learned how to make brushes, make repeating patterns. This was such a fun month where we learned how to create a collection, like a long-term art series that we created over the entire month. And some members even like made it into books and stuff like that. It was really cool. But there's a lot of past tutorials that you can go through. All of these are just at your disposal. So these are all of our past tutorials. There's quite a lot in there now. And then we also do Q&As. We have one tomorrow. So you can ask whatever you want to me and I just answer all your questions. And you can ask me about anything. You can ask about Procreate, life and creativity, what it's like to be a business owner and a mother, like whatever you want. And I just answer all your questions. We also sometimes have special guests come in and talk to the club. Here's a few, and I'm actually working on a guest speaker coming in a month or 2 maybe. I'm still working on it, but members, you can look forward to something like that. And then we do these artwork advice sessions where you can submit a piece of artwork and what it is that you want advice on, and I will give you that advice. And usually I do like draw overs or redraws and just kind of demonstrate, you know, the changes, and it's really cool to see how members have taken the advice to improve their artwork. It's been really, really cool. And then we also do draw together hangouts where we get together on Zoom and we hang out and draw and play Pictionary. And it's like a really casual kind of thing, not like a lesson, but like just like hang out, and it's a lot of fun. So we have some of the replays of that. And these are all replays of the past stuff that we've done, so you can watch all those. And then a couple more things. We also have tons of Procreate brushes. So we have like a whole library of Procreate brushes that you get as a member. I think there's like over 200 brushes or something like that, but all these different Procreate brushes, and we have tutorials to go with them. And then of course we have our beautiful community, which is the best part. Like the people are the best part. And we are sharing our artwork, we're cheering each other on, we're asking questions, and there's a lot of like amazing talent in the club. So it's a really amazing place. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit more about it because I don't often show like all the stuff. So that's Art Makers Club. Oh, and we also do art retreats as well. So I've done a few art retreats. We've gone to Oaxaca, Mexico. We've gone to we just went to Italy, like I was telling you. We did this watercolor retreat, and we have also gone to France, and we're going back again in September. So if you want to come on an art retreat with me and go in depth and play with paint and Procreate and make Procreate brushes and things like that, like we have a few spots left for our September retreat, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I can share, I'll send you guys a follow-up email with some details about some of this stuff. So yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Okay, and then the biggest thing about what's coming up next month is it is our Founders Month for Art Makers Club. That's kind of why I wanted to talk to you guys about it. This is our biggest event of the year. Our club, we're 3 years old. We've been around for 3 years. It's been an amazing 3 years. But we're turning 3, and we always do, every time it's our birthday, we do a big celebration, and it's a lot of fun. And this kind of is, I'm not going to say too much about the theme, but you can maybe get the vibe from the designs that I'm making, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So July, the month of July, 1st through 31st, we're having a Founders Month party. I'm releasing new Procreate brushes. There's 2 exclusive tutorials. We do, I said we do 2 events. We're actually doing 3 in Founders Month. There's going to be member spotlights and even contests. Like I have a few contests with some really great prizes, including we are giving away another iPad. We've never done this for Founders Month, and we're really excited about it, but you just have to be a member to enter. Like all of our members are going to be entered into this giveaway, and we're going to pick one lucky winner from our membership to win an iPad. Just have to be in an applicable country. That's the only kind of caveat to that. But like, I'm very excited to do this giveaway for our members. So it's actually a really great time to join right now because we do our biggest sale of the year. We roll back pricing to what it was when we launched. So this is founding members pricing. You can join for as little as $10 a month with the annual plan, which is just like so worth it for all the stuff that you get. I know our members like can attest to the value of what you get in this club, and it's really, really great. So you can head to artmakers.com/membership, and I've got some promo codes there, and they're also on the page. So the cool thing about this is if you join during the sale, you lock in this rate for as long as you stay an active member. So this is the best time to join out of the entire year. This is the lowest price we give all year long, and it's on right now. Sale's going on right now, so I really hope you give it a try. Art Makers Club is it's a beautiful place, and I'm so proud of what it's become. I would get a little emotional talking about it. It's a really wonderful place, and I love the people there. So. Okay, I think I've jabbered on enough. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I get really excited talking about all this stuff. But let's do our giveaway. Jeff, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, cool. Okay, let's get into it. We are going to start with our master bundle winners. This is my complete collection of Bardot brushes. I think I said it was like 18 sets, 400 some odd brushes. It's a lot of really fun stuff. Okay, let's call out our first winner.
Our first winner is Your Vu for the Master Bundle.
Your Vu, congratulations. We're going to send you an email letting you know how to redeem your prize. So congratulations, Your Vu, for winning our very first Master Bundle of today's giveaway. And we're going to do one more for these. So who is our next winner?
Our next winner is Yvonne Van Koog.
Yvonne Koog.
Looks like she's from the Netherlands.
Congratulations, Yvonne. You have won a Master Bundle. We'll send you an email with all the details about how to redeem your prize. Congratulations. All right, so our next 2 prizes are going to be an annual, 1-year membership of Art Makers Club. So you're gonna really get in there, try it out for a year. Like there's so much to do, so many fun stuff. I showed you everything. I don't need to blather on about it anymore. Let's go ahead and pick our winner.
All right, our first winner is Crystal De Jesus.
Crystal De Jesus, congratulations, Crystal. You've won a year of Art Makers Club membership. Yay! And we're gonna pick one more winner for that as well.
We have Asuri Haraf.
Asuri Haraf, congratulations! I'm so excited to have you in the club. And I don't feel like these names are familiar to me, so hopefully you aren't already members. But if you are, we will cover your year of membership. So yay, congratulations to all the winners of those prizes. Okay, are you guys ready? It's time for the iPad giveaway. Yeah!
All right.
Okay.
So
tell us the deal, Jeff.
what do you have to do per the terms and conditions? You must email info@bardotbrush when your name is announced. We give you a minute because, you know, it does happen and it takes a second and you do have to be live. You do not have to be in the chat. You do just have to email us. And that is the caveat to win. That you must be present and email us from the email that you submitted for the winning.
I'm gonna put it in the chat and you can pin it, okay?
Yep.
The email address.
Yeah.
info@Bardot.
I got it.
I already did.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, you pin that. Oh, it did a weird thing. That's fine. Okay. All right, so the winner will need to email info@bardotbrush.com. Let us know that that's me. Use the email that you used to submit, and you'll be good to go. Okay, how long are we gonna give before we finally
Well,
move
let's
to the
see
next
how long
person?
it takes. Just in
Only a
case
few
they're
minutes.
in chat or anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can also say that's me in the chat, and that will kind of let us know you're here.
That you're doing it.
Okay.
Our winner is
Da-da-da-da.
Zia Harris.
Zia Harris. Zia Harris, are you here? Zia Harris, you are our first pick for the iPad winner. I hope you're here. If you're here, say hi in the chat. Oh, she's here! Oh, yay!
All right, you just got to email
Hi,
us, Zia, so we know you're here.
Oh my God,
Shoot
so
us that
excited for
email from that
you.
email address. It's kind of like a double guarantee for that win.
Yeah, so send us
And
email
we've got you.
info@bardotbrush.com. And that way we'll know it's you. Oh my gosh, everybody's saying congratulations. They're so excited for you, Zia.
I love how some of you guys are trying
Aw.
to email to be the winner, which is hilarious. But again,
It's got to be Zia.
Winner.
Yeah.
We just need that quick email, Zia, and we've got you. As soon as you
She
send
sent it?
there it is.
Yes,
All
yay!
right.
Oh my
We
gosh,
love it.
congratulations. Oh, Zia, I'm so excited for you to get your new iPad. I wanted to tell you which one it is. It is this iPad, not this literal iPad. We're sending you a brand new one, but it's a 10th generation iPad. The latest model of this one. It comes in all these fun colors like this cute pink. But yay, oh my gosh, Zia, so excited for you. So we'll reach out to you about getting your prize and everything like that. And thank you guys so much to everybody who joined me today. We had a lot of you guys here today, and that always just makes it so much more fun. We have a lot of people here, and I hope you enjoyed drawing an ice cream truck with me. I would love to see your artwork. It'd be cool to see if you do any like personalizations to the artwork, change out colors, put your favorite ice cream on the front, whatever. And please do tag me Lisa Bardot so I can see those. And yay, oh my gosh, so excited. So stay tuned. I'll send you guys a follow-up email with some of the stuff I talked about today. And you can look forward to Founders Month. It's gonna be so much fun in Art Makers Club. I have a lot of really fun stuff coming. Most of it's for members, but there are a couple things that anybody can participate in. So I will let you guys know about that too. So thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. As always, happy art making. Bye-bye.